What's up, guys? Welcome back to another What If. What if Deku was an Avenger? Part 1, The Redo. So let's begin our original idea from anime Avatar. Me, as of course, and let's create another banger. So let's begin our community and our video and also our what if. Welcome to the spirit world. So we begin with Deku, just a normal kid that starts everything. The person who started the Avengers and leads them at the end. So, Deku, he's just a normal 15-year-old who loves to read, and he reads mangas all the time. He is half Japanese, half American, and yeah, he lives in America, and he is in the era where there's a war at, and it's way back in the past where the main storyline of My Hero Academia is. Like, if I say 100 years in the past, and Deku, he's just going through a war right now, and his country, America, declared war with Hydra, and now the whole world is at stake. And let me say, this is during our era, and My Hero is during us. I think I'll say 50 years later. So let's say in 50 years, in 2070, that's My Hero, and it's happening right now. Yeah, so there's no virus in that era. There was no wildfire, there was no all of that, no heroes and all of that. It was just a simple storyline with a normal thing that, because I'm not too particular with, the World War II, World War One, World War Three, and all that. Even though there's no World War Three. But yeah. And we fall from Deku just getting beaten up by some random person, and this is a middle-aged man beating up Deku because Deku stopped this guy from raping a girl, and Deku's like, I can do this all day. This guy starts brutally beating on Deku until Shoto Todoroki, Deku's best friend, his buddy, throws a freaking bin at this man. This man, his nose snap and breaks, and he's like, shit, my nose is bleeding. I think it's broken. What's wrong with you kids? Then this man just runs away. Deku grabs a freaking bin holder and he throws it at the man, knocking the guy out. Deku's like, yeah, I can do this all day. Give me round 3, I guess. And the old man is just knocked out. Then we follow from a professor, just a few meters away from Deku, and he's like a few streets away from Deku, and he's hearing screaming, and then he starts running closer and sees the kid throw a shield at this man, and he detects the dots, seeing a girl and a boy and another boy beating on this other middle-aged dude, and he's like, that guy was about to rape that girl, I guess. That kid's a hero. I inspired to be that kid. I got fired by my job, but I've now been hired by a different company called S.H.I.E.L.D, and they do want me to make this super soldier serum, and that kid looks scrawny, skinny, and we do need some people in the war. So, I guess so. Then the man walks towards Deku. And he's like, Deku, kid, I want you to be my first subject of the super soldier serum. Deku's like, awesome, what is that? Is that some like Comic-Con or anything? Cause I swear Comic-Con got cancelled just a few months ago because of this, World War 5, Shoto was like, yeah, I think it got cancelled too because of that. And the professor's like, no, not about that. I mean, Super Soldier Serum. It's a serum that basically makes your agility, your strength, your speed, your stamina, whatever you have in your body just goes 250%. And all of it is good. Well, there is a bad side. He may be acting like a 35-year-old, but you look like a 12-year-old, Deku's like, I'm 15. And the man's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. You just look. Deku says, yes, I know. I don't look like the normal 15-year-old. Kind of buff, kind of skinny, kind of tall. I'm just a normal person in my head. I always get picked on just because of the way I look. And I say no, I shouldn't get picked on like that. And I didn't do anything wrong, but the universe just doesn't like me. And the professor's like, I'm giving you a chance, kid. Do you want to become a hero? And Deku's like, of course. Shoto always says I'm gonna become a hero someday, and I support my friend of backing me up, and I say yes, I will become a hero. I don't know how and I don't know when. Deku and the professor's like, I know. By 4 weeks you become a hero. And Deku's like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm just a 50-year-old kid. I think war starts when you're only 16, so I only got 1 year. And they won't even allow me to be in the war because I'm too skinny and I'm not that strong, as usual, like other kids, as I said. And, yeah. Then, the professor's like, kid, you remind me just like me when I was younger. I always wanted to become a hero during the war, but things are hard. Things are hard to be stronger, but look, I'm a professor now. I like this job, but I do want to take the super soldier serum for myself. But I'm giving you a chance. So you say yes or no. Deku says yes. Yes, I will. We follow from a couple weeks later. Deku's mom signed the papers to allow Deku to take the super soldier serum, as she knows that Deku really wants to become a world-renowned hero. Deku's dad is going through the war, and Deku just wants to get closer to his dad and save how much people he wants and protect the people he loves. Then we follow from Deku just walking to the place and the coordinates where the professor told him to be. Then Deku's like, why did Professor tell me to come to this garage? Wait a minute, is he a pedo? And then from nowhere, Deku runs away until he bumps into this guy. And he's very tall with an eye patch, and he's like, I'm detective. I'm a detective, Nick Fury S.H.I.E.L.D, and I'm the owner of S.H.I.E.L.D, as you can see, my surname and all that, and my second name. But we'll scratch that. I think you're the super soldier serum guy, aren't you? Follow me. Meet me this way. Deku's like, cool eye patch. Is that, fake? And Nick is like, does it look fake? Then Nick opens his eye patch and he looks straight to Deku. Deku, horrified of the scratch and how his eye has now turned black. And Deku's like, whoa, what really happened to you? And Nick Fury is obviously lying. He's saying, I was in the war, my eye got shot, but I killed everybody who was shooting all my mates and all that. And Deku's like, you're probably a cool dude, And Nick Fury's like, yeah, no cat really scratched me in the eye. Nothing really happened. No cat really scratched me in the eye. Nothing weird happened. I wasn't on the spaceship and a cat didn't vomit out some square thing. Yeah, by the way, kid. So, meet me this way. Then he opens the garage and he presses a button. The floor turns into an elevator and it goes down to the ground floor. Then Deku's like, awesome! Is this some underneath base or something? And then Nick is like, kid, we're trying to fit a helicarrier inside here. Trying to make it, and maybe we can make a boat and change it into a helicarrier in the next 50 years. I'll probably be dead by then, but, just trying to believe. Ah, there's the professor. Go to him straight away. You've missed your appointment for 3:30. And Deku just runs bursting. And it's like, Professor, I'm sorry. I got a little bit confused and I thought you were a pedophile sending me to a coordinates where a garage is. But Nick Fury helped me come here to get the super soldier serum. So where do I get the serum? And then the professor's like, oh, I forgot. You go in that tank over there. And Deku's like, wait, that tank? That big ass tank? And the professor's like, watch your language, kid. Yes, that tank. It doesn't look uncomfortable, but we at least put pillows in there. And Deku's like, if you put pillows in there, how is that gonna make everything comfortable? Then Professor sprays something on Deku's eyes. Deku faints and he gets put into this gas. Deku inhales the gas. They shut the whole thing. Deku wakes up. Everything's black. Looking around, he sees all this smoke going in his eyes turning red. And Deku goes into a 2-hour sleep until everything opens. White bright lights starts shining upon Deku's eyes. Then Deku's like, what the? Deku can't even see. He's kind of blind. Deku faints to the floor and he's like, what? I fell, didn't I? Wait a minute. My body is kind of big. No way. Deku sees himself in the mirror, seeing a 12-pack. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm ripped. And then he gets his phone and starts taking selfies. And then the professor basically shoots Deku's phone. He's like, no phones in base. Remember, this is a secret organization. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is a very secretive place. And it's the only reason why the world is actually still here. And Deku's like, So you're telling me there's people far above us that are more powerful that could wipe out the whole Earth? And Professor's like, yeah. Like this dude called Galactus. We saw him in the radar, and then he just disappeared. Then we saw this figure with this kind of gauntlet on his hand, and he disappeared, and we haven't seen him very lately since the 1960s. But maybe someday when we find a spaceship far enough to scan the whole universe, we'll know every single answer to life. And Deku's like, cool. And Nick Fury walks in. He's like, guys, this is my daughter. She's coming here to lead this commanding group. And Deku's like, a group? Then the professor opens another other side of the garage, and we see 10,000 soldiers, and in the middle of it, we see Shoto Todoroki, Deku's best friend, his buddy. And Deku is like, Shoto? Is that you? And yes, Shoto does not have his white hair, red hair on each side. He doesn't have his scar as usual. And yeah, he just has, if I say, he has white hair. He just only has white hair, okay? Then we see Deku hug his friend, and he's like, dude, it's been so long. And Shoto's like, dude, you texted me just yesterday, and it's only been 4 hours. No, that was the wrong time. You texted me 20 minutes ago. Deku's like, oh, but look how ripped I am. And Shoto's like, oh my gosh, can I take some of the super soldier serum? And the professor is like, kid, you know that we run out of the fuel. And Shoto's like, come on. And Deku starts flexing all his muscle, like, god damn, I'm ripped. Then Nick is like, calm down all you horses now. All you guys need to suit up and get this man a shield. Then we follow from Deku, slow-mo's out, with the boys, his army, leading them to a battle in Kentucky. And Deku, he's just standing there in the middle of the street with several soldiers, and he just has the shield, and everybody's like, hey, where's your gun? And Deku's like, what makes you think I need a gun? A gun is for killing people. A shield for defending people. And I just want to become a symbol of peace. And I do it my own way. Then from Norway we see Hydro soldiers come with jets, starting dropping different people. They start landing, start shooting at Deku. Deku is like, Avengers, assemble. All the army starts running towards Hydra. Hydra starts running towards Deku's team. Deku from nowhere does a bead twist, throws his shield, splitting their freaking rib cage out of their freaking heart. This dude is breaking their bones just by one shield. The shield just going left, right, left, right. It comes back to Deku. Deku starts doing combos on these dudes. Deku's like, how did I know all these combos? And Shoto's like, you know, it increases your smartness to like 9,000. Deku's like, what, 9,000? basically he's now got the knowledge of his IQ is 189, and yeah, so Deku, he starts battling during this war, and this war goes on for a long time, couple of hours. A lot of his men have died, and yeah. Then from nowhere we see a tank start freaking shooting at Deku's team. Deku's team has to retreat. Deku starts running on the street, doing parkour with Shoulder Todoroki. Deku is like, I can't leave my soldiers alone and allow them to die. Deku jumps off a building, does a freaking backflip off a car, then does a B-12, starts deflecting all the bullets with his shield, and he's like, hey, take this. Deku starts blocking them, trying to protect all his men. Some of his men are getting shot, but it's not as least they didn't get saved by Deku. Then all the men just leave. Deku's all alone, and he's with several other Hydra soldiers and a tank just shooting at Deku. Deku just dodging like Spider-Man with a spidey sense. Then Deku's like, shit, he's got a grenade. Deku starts running and running and running. Deku's like, no, I can't run. I'll just be a coward. Deku does the most incredible thing you will think. Deku does not use his shield, but he does, so he throws Todoroki his shield. Deku climbs on top of a truck, jumps on top of his shield. Then Todoroki lifts the shield up, moving Deku just much more higher to reach the grenade in the air. Deku does a bicycle kick. If you don't know a bicycle kick, in football, I'm not talking to American football, but I'm talking about soccer. If you're from America or any different country, which they pronounce it like that, is where you do kind of a backflip, but if you are kicking the ball. And he does it straight back to Hydra. Hydra just gets exploded. And this was a powerful grenade. Like, this is one of those brand new ones that you see in films that army soldiers use now. And all we hear is just a ring. And yeah, Deku just starts running with Todoroki and his army. Then we skip from a few months later, and Deku, he's now been doing this hero work, being the symbol of peaceful America for a couple of, months, and he's moved to Japan because his father has died, and now is the best time for his mom to see her grandmother and, stay as a Black Widow. Giving a nod to Black Widow, the superhero, just a little reference, And remember, this is still a Marvel movie, so I can put Easter eggs, Then we fall from Deku, getting a call from Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D, and Deku answers the phone, and he's like, Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D, what's the next mission? And Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D's like, And then Deku's like, huh? What are you talking about, Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D? I can't hear you. And then we follow from Hydra, and it's like, how Hydra? Boom! Freaking the phone cuts. Then Deku's like, what? Did he just say Hell Hydra? What? I heard a boom. But no. It can't be a bomb. Mr. Fury is one of the toughest people I know in my life. maybe even the toughest. And I can't let this happen. And then he calls the professor, and the professor is like, hey, Izuku, what do you want? You want a new super soldier serum, you know? Super soldier serum number 2? And Deku's like, no, I think they killed Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think he knows where I live, where everybody lives. And Professor's like, I'm sending you coordinates to Japan Hydra base, and we believe that the leader, called Red Skull, is there. And he's been behind all of this. He's basically the Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D. but of Hydra. And you know what you have to do. You're Captain America. And you're a hero. Thank you, kid, for inspiring me. But I may die today. You know why? Because I'm gonna end up becoming a hero someday. And Deku's like, okay, I'll bring in the nuke with the jet. And the professor's like, are you serious? You realize there's a nuke on the jet, and it's full of rats that have illnesses inside, and if it bites somebody, the whole generation's getting wiped out. Deku's like, I'm sorry, they took one of us, now we take all of them. Deku blasts through the air with his jet, flies towards a freaking middle of the forest with a massive ass base in the middle of it. And he calls all his soldiers. He calls 10 million of his soldiers to come. His soldiers circle around the base secretly, and they're also sniping Hydra security. And Deku, he lands. He hasn't dropped the nuke yet, but he's just landed. And let me say that this is the most powerful nuke in the world. Like, this is the type of nuke that could wipe the whole human race. Well, there's a twist into it. Something's gonna happen. So, we follow from Deku, just on top of the Hydro base, and he goes inside the air vent, and he smashes through the air vent, and he throws his shield at so many different other Hydra agents, and he does a roly-poly over a freaking hospital bed. He kicks a guy in the nuts, and he flips a dude by using his hand, then slide tackles another dude, knees a guy to the face, catches his shield, busts through another door, pins another dude but behind him, and then hits a dude in his stomach, throws the dude into the other dude who was pinned, then throws a chair at a dude, then just starts running and running and running. And he's like, bring me Red Skull. And then Deku starts he gets a gun and he starts shooting at different type of Hydra soldiers. Yes, Captain America kills people. If you haven't forgotten, in like one of the first scenes of Captain America, the movie, he starts shooting people. And yeah. And Deku is taking no mercy. And he's like, you take one of us, I take all you guys. Deku starts shooting at multiple other people, then sees a guy with a robe. The guy removes his robe, and we just see this dude with jeans and shoes, but his whole body is red. Deku is like, Red Skull, was it you? You killed him. You killed him. You killed Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D. And Red Skull's like, you know what this is? This square thing? It's the Tesseract. It's an alien thing that we found in space, a long time ago. And we use it as our energy supplies, you know? And inside there's a stone. And this stone is very powerful. We've been doing, some testings, but we can't break it because we're not that powerful. And this is where your rats come into place. Those rats inside the nuke, if they get a load of touch of this Tesseract, they're gonna give our men powers. And it's gonna go to their generation and another generation. Hydra's gonna win. And Deku says, how about if there's heroes like me? Deku runs to Red Skull, holds onto on top of a wooden plank, kicks Red Skull into the chest, slide tackles Red Skull, gets his shield. Red Skull gets his AK-47, starts shooting at Deku. Deku starts doing backflips, twists, just deflecting all the bullets. Deku, from nowhere, gets his Tesseract. He does a B-twist over Red Skull, throws the Tesseract onto Red Skull's back. Red Skull's back starts burning. Red Skull starts screaming, saying, oh my god, what is this? Oh my gosh, this is annoying. And he's like, my back is burning alive. And Deku's like, good riddance. Deku gets a freaking lighter and throws it at Tesseract. The Tesseract starts leaking of this radiation, and it goes up to this broken air vent where Deku was, and where Deku's jet is. And it goes towards the rats, and it infects all the rats that are inside. And there's a quadrillion rats inside there. Deku is like, I need to find something I could do. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, soldiers, kill all Hydra agents right now. And all the soldiers come from nowhere, start shooting all the Hydra agents. Deku starts throwing grenades, and he starts putting them left, right. And he's got a switch. If he presses it, everything goes kaboom. And he's put at least around 50 of them around the whole place. Every room is going to get exploded. Deku climbs above the air vent again. And he goes inside his jet. And he presses the button as he's flying away. The whole base explodes. We fall from Red Skull. Just like, he sees the liquid of the freaking Tesseract. I always forget the name. And he sees a diamond inside. His whole body just vamooses out of the Earth's atmosphere into this different planet. And then we fall from Deku, out of fuel, and he's like, what the? I'm out of fuel? All I see out there is an iceberg. If I only land there, that could be the only chance I could survive, right? Well, I guess this is the only thing. Then, from nowhere, Deku, by accidentally, presses a button, dropping the nuke. Lands it on top of Japan. Japan gets full of rats, biting several people. Then all the rats cover the whole of Japan, moves across sea, starts biting not every single person, just most of the environment. And The whole world is now full of different people with new powers. Deku is sweating because of the heat of temperature that the Earth's atmosphere that he's dropping into. Deku booms through an iceberg. And we follow from Deku waking up in a hospital. And he's like, God damn, what happened? I'm in the bed. All I remember, I was in some jet with rats and I accidentally dropped something. Wait, where's Mr. S.H.I.E.L.D? Deku sees that he's in a hospital. Back to his timeline, and Deku opens the door and he sees a whole different thing. He sees all this futuristic stuff. And Deku sees a guy with a head for a snake. Deku screams. Deku runs out of the building and he sees all these different types of cars. And he's like, what is all this? And we see cars pull out from nowhere, and we hear footsteps, and it's David S.H.I.E.L.D. and what's his name again? All Might. And All Might, he's in skinny form because he lost his powers a long time ago. And he's got a little bit fat, but okay. And he's like, Izuku Midoriya. So you're the guy who gave us all quirks, aren't you? And Deku's like, what's quirks? Is there something I'm missing? And then All Might says, you've been in an iceberg for the past 50 years. Deku's like, that makes a lot of sense. How I'm here, everything looks different. Some things look the same, but yeah. So, what year is this? And All Might's like, it's 2070. It's kind of strange. I want to understand how you're going through it and how you're processing this, but there's this thing that we need to solve. There are villains, and villains are taking over. Heroes are getting killed left, right, and center. And we need a hero, a true one. We've got statues all around the world praising you for what you did by saving several lives for the past 50 years. You've saved at least all of us. But one thing you can do is become a hero at UA and become an Avenger. And Deku's like, hey, I remember that word. I created that team. I was also the leader. And yeah, so what about the Avengers? They all dead, right? And All Might's like, yeah, they all dead, but it's a hero name. And we need a hero name. As you're the leader of the Avengers. So why don't you do this to the next generation? The leader of the next generation of the Avengers. You know? Earth's mightiest heroes. And Deku's like, so who do you have in your team? Deku and All Might's like, we got a green guy. We got a person who rages and who's also a billionaire. And same age as you, all of them. Also, he wears an iron suit. And we got this guy who claims to be a god with lightning. Then we got two other people who are quirkless. They don't really have powers, and one just uses guns. Another one uses arrows and is the son of Aizawa. Just another hero. But yeah, that's your main team. And you'll be going to UA by next year. And Deku's like, that sounds cool. But shouldn't I... Where's my mom? Did she survive? I guess she's like around now, like 40 something. And then All Might's like, oh, kid, yeah, your mom's still alive, but she's in a nursing home. Deku's like, nursing home? Has that been so long? She thought I was dead the whole time? All Might's like, yeah. David's like, well, it's for the best of good. You didn't need her to know too much information. But you can go see your mom. And would you think about being a hero again? And Deku's like, hero? Hero's been my whole life. And I'm gonna do what I love. Protecting people who are in danger. And as I'm hearing, Earth is in a great threat. And you guys need my help. And where's my next mission? And All Might's like, your next mission? Avengers? Assemble. And guys, this is where we're gonna end it off for today. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And see you guys on the next What If. And don't forget, I love you guys 3000. And I am your anime avatar.